Hello, my name is Elijah Wells, and this morning the Golden Globe nominations came out, and you know what that means? It's the start of award seasons officially. So let's get on with it. And for Best Picture in Drama, we have Frankenstein, Hamnet, It Was Just an Accident, The Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, and Sinners. Again, I am definitely getting a sense that I imagine a lot of people are going to gravitate that Hamlet is going to win for Best Picture in Drama, but I wouldn't be too surprised if, like, say, Sentimental Value or Sinners is going to get a winner for this. But also, I did notice that Neon, the film distributor, has got like 4 nominations across both categories of Best Picture Drama as well as Musical Comedy, which is also very surprising, which I will touch on a little bit later in this video. And for Best Picture in Musical Comedy, we have Blue Moon, Bargnonia, Marty Supreme, No Other Choice, Nouvelle Vogue or New Wave, and One Battle After Another. Again, I really want to see One Battle After Another completely win this one, as in probably win a lot of trophies at this point, a lot of trophies at the Golden Globes. But I am also keeping a really keen eye out for like My Supreme, which I'm hearing loads of good things about this one, but it isn't out in UK yet. There's also Park Chan-wook's No Other Choice, who's been controversially snubbed for The Handmaiden and Decision to Leave, and also made one of the best Korean films of the 2000s, being Old Boy. And now he's finally getting some recognition, particularly with his most recent outing, No Other Choice. But again, from what I've seen so far, I'm wanting to see One Battle After Another win for Best Picture Musical Comedy. And for Best Picture in Animation, we have Akro, Demon Slayer, Infinity Castle, Elio, K-pop Demon Hunters, Little Emily and the Character of Rain, and Zootopia. I think it's no debating that K-pop Demon Hunters is pretty much going to win this one, no questions asked, but I wouldn't be too surprised if Zootopia 2 would win this one, but I am a bit somewhat surprised that Demon Slayer got nominated. Like, again, I don't think there was like that many anime films not made by Studio Ghibli that got like loads of acclaim like awards that from like the big ones like the Golden Globes, the BAFTAs, even the Oscars. Maybe like Marie from Mamoru Soda or Your Name or something like that, or Weather Review. Like I remember they may have got some nominations, but again, Demon Slayer got nomination here, but not including something like, I don't know, Chainsaw Man, which apparently loads of people are like raving about that movie. But again, I wouldn't be surprised Zootopia 2 would win, but it's safe to say that K-pop Demon Hunters would win for that one. And now for the category that makes very little, if not makes no sense at all, the cinematic and box office achievement. We have Avatar Fire and Ash, F1, K-pop Demon Hunters, Mission Impossible Final Reckoning, Sinners, Weapons, and Wicked for Good, and Zootopia 2. Like, again, Avatar 2, Fire and Ash is not even out yet. Like, what's the point of even nominating it when it's not even out for that category? Like, which is, I find, very odd. K-pop Demon Hunters, again, I said in my most recent review ranting about Netflix, like, it's been out for like 2 weeks. You can't just give awards for movies that have just been out for 2 weeks, or let alone out in public at all. Like, nothing makes sense about this category at all. Like, Mission Impossible Final Reckoning, I don't think it was even that big in the box office either. Like, what about like Nijian 2, like that Chinese movie that made $2 billion in China alone? Isn't that more warranted at best? Like, nothing about this category makes sense. Sinners, okay. Weapons, okay. Wicked and Zootopia, they're still going really strong in the box office, so maybe give some time for it to like galvanize a little bit more in the box office, but they're both really doing well in the box office, both foreign and domestic. Again, I'm not choosing a winner of this because this is just a very stupid category, and this year they made unbelievably stupid choices. So I'm not giving anyone a winner on this one. And for Best Picture in a non-English language, we have It's Just an Accident from France, No Other Choice from South Korea, The Secret Agent from Brazil, Sentimental Value from Norway, Zataran from Spain, and The Voice of Hijab from Tanzania. Again, this is a big monopoly for Neon. Out of these 6 films that were nominated, and 5 of them are from Neon. Like, again, a huge achievement in itself for the company. Again, one of the biggest indie companies to emerge after 2010s, along with A24. Again, the reason why I still have faith in cinema, despite the recent news. Like, what I want to see who could be winning out of this. Again, some really tough choices right there, like really big ones. Like, again, I think like 4 of them were even nominated for like Best Picture, which goes to show like even the foreign film categories like have the most tightest like competition. Like, we have It's Just an Accident, which won the Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival. We have No Other Choice, which has gained loads of acclaim from a usually snubbed person, Park Chan-wook. The Secret Agent, which I think won Best Actor at the Cannes Film Festival. Sentimental Value, which has gained loads of acclaim. And Voice of a Hijab, a movie that's apparently like super harrowing and depressing about a girl who ended up being killed by the Israelis during the ongoing war in Gaza. So much so, even at the Venice Film Festival, got a 20-minute plus applause. So much so, it even got recognized at the Guinness World Record. Like, that goes to show the power of like cinema outside of the United States. Again, if I have to go with one film, probably at gunpoint, I imagine Sentimental Value could win for that one. But again, this is at gunpoint at this point. And now to the acting categories. We have best performance by an actress in a leading role in drama. We have Jessie Berkley for Hamnet, Jennifer Lawrence in Die My Love, Renee Renesmez from Sentimental Value. Again, I apologize if I mispronounced that name. We have Julia Roberts for After the Hunt, Tessa Thompson for Hedda, and Eva Victor for Sorry Baby. Again, I think there's no debating, and pretty much not that much competition. Particularly, we have Jessie Bartlett for Hamnet, which I imagine she's going to win for that one. But the next one is Renette from Sentimental Values, who I imagine would come up at second, or could even win that one. But I would not be surprised if Jessie Bartlett would win for Hamnet. Best Actor in Drama, we have Joel Edgerton for Train Dreams, Oscar Isaac for Frankenstein, Dwayne Johnson for Smashing Machine, Michael B. Jordan for Sinners, Wagner Mori for Secret Agent, and Jeremy Allen White for Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere. Again, some incredibly great performances here and there. We have Wagner Mori, who won for Best Actor for Secret Agent. And of course we had Michael B. Jordan playing not one but 2 of himself in this movie. And we have Dwayne The Rock Johnson for Smashing Machine, again acting completely against type in a vulnerable mixed martial artist who goes on opiates. We have Jeremy Allen White, who does a great performance in Springsteen, which I remember liking. And there's also some great stuff like Oscar Isaac for Frankenstein and Joel Edgerton from Train Dreams. But again, this is like some pretty tough stuff. But I would imagine that Wagner Mori could be winning for Secret Agent. As much as I want to see Michael B. Jordan or Dwayne Johnson would win for their respective roles, but I'm putting my money that Wagner Mori for Secret Agent would win for the movie for that category. We have Best Actress for Musical Comedy. We have Rose Byrne for If I Had Legs I'd Kick You, Cynthia Erivo for Wicked for Good, Kate Hudson for Song Sung Blue, Chase Infinity for One Battle After Another, Amanda Seinfeld for A Testament of Anne Lee, Emma Stone for Bugnonia. Again, some pretty good stuff. We have Rose Byrne, who won the Best Leading Performance at the Berlin Film Festival, if I remember correctly, and she does play like a mentally falling apart nurse whose therapist is played by Conan O'Brien and has a neighbour, I'm guessing, played by A$AP Rocky. Again, we have Cynthia Erivo for Wicked. She was great in that one. Taste Infinity, definitely one of the standout debuts of this year, which is, again, a pretty big statement for a year. It had loads of standout great performances from debuts. Amanda Seinfeld for Testament of Anne Lee, written by Brady Corbet, who did The Brutalist last year. I really want to check that out. Particularly, it's filmed on 70mm, which is similar to what The Brutalist was shot on. Emma Stone for Magnolia. Again, not the strongest of her collaborations with Yorgos Lanthimos, but I definitely know there are a lot of fans behind this movie, and her performance is definitely a highlight in that movie. But I imagine either Cynthia Erivo could be winning for this one, or Chase Infinity for One Battle After Another. But If it's again at gunpoint, I imagine Chase Infinity would be the winner for that category because she is incredible in that movie. But I would not be surprised if Cynthia Erivo would win for Wicked for Good. And for Best Actor in Musical Comedy, we have Timothée Chalamet for My Supreme, George Clooney for Jay Kelly, Leonardo DiCaprio for One Battle After Another, Ethan Hawke for Blue Moon, Lee Bong-han for No Other Choice, and Jesse Plemons for Bagnonia. Again, really tough competition. Definitely some heavyweights. Definitely some of the biggest actors at this moment. Particularly Lee Bong-han, who you may recognize from his role in Squid Games and the recently cancelled Disney Plus series Apocalypse from Star Wars. Again, if I mispronounced it, I do apologize. Jesse Plemons, second collaboration he did with Yorgos with Kinds of Kindness, particularly this film. Ethan Hawke with his frequent collaborator Richard Linklater. Leonardo DiCaprio, brilliant as always in One Battle After Another. George Clooney, pretty much could be onto his biggest winner, biggest awards magnet role since I think probably Descendants, almost over 10 years ago now. And Timothée Chalamet, who's just having hit after hit and having nomination after nomination. He had Call Me By Your Name, he had June, he had Completely Unknown. He is just absolutely gigantic at the moment. But may an award elude him, or is he just going to have to wait a lot longer like Leonardo DiCaprio did? So much so, it did become a glorified meme. Again, I am betting that Leonardo DiCaprio is going to win for that category. But I would not be surprised if Timothée Chalamet would win for My Supreme. Again, I'm hearing loads of good things about his performance, but I'm going to stick with Leonardo DiCaprio for now, for One Battle After Another. And finally, for the acting categories, we have the supporting roles. For Best Actress in the Supporting Role, we have Emily Blunt for Smashing Machine, Elle Fanning for Sentimental Value, Ariana Grande for Wicked for Good, Ignore is Dr. Elizabeth. Again, I incredibly apologise if I mispronounced it, for Sentimental Value. Amy Madigan for Weapons. And Tanya Taylor for One Battle After Another. Again, some incredibly interesting choices there. Of course, there's Tanya Taylor for One Battle After Another, but she did conjure some controversy just because she was in this movie for 20 minutes, even though the movie's nearly 3 hours long, if I remember correctly. So that's that being pushed against her. There's Ariana Grande, which of course getting loads of acclaim for her performance, probably even more than from the first film in my opinion. Then of course Elle Fanning, who's absolutely everywhere at the moment, particularly the Predator movie, which I really like, but didn't do a review because I caught a cold. And of course, she's everywhere. Emily Blunt with I think second collaboration with Dwayne The Rock Johnson after Jungle Cruise. And of course doing Smashing Machine. And of course we have Igna, I'm not going to pronounce the full name again, from Sentimental Value, which again, loads of claim for, and Amy Madigan in the movie Weapons, where she looks like either James Charles in retirement age or Conan O'Brien after a sex change, which you could probably pinpoint which one it's going to be. But I imagine it's going to be for Ariana Grande for Wicked for Good, but I would not be at all surprised if Tanya Taylor from One Battle After Another would win for that one. And finally, we have Best Supporting Actor. Benicio del Toro for One Battle After Another, Jacob Elordi for Frankenstein, Paul Mescal for Hamnet, Sean Penn for One Battle After Another, Adam Sandler for Jay Kelly, and Stellan Skarsgård for Sentimental Value. Again, I would not be surprised that Sean Penn would win for One Battle After Another. But I'm definitely hearing loads of good things about Paul Mescal in for Hamnet. But again, since I have not seen that film yet, and of course, Sean Penn is definitely such a really disgustingly unlikable person, just a nasty piece of work in this movie. But of course, his performance in that movie is undoubtedly incredible. This movie. Who knows, at the Oscars, if he gets nominated, he could be like Meryl Streep or Daniel Day-Lewis, where he could be winning 3 Oscars in his entire career after Mystic River and Milk. So I imagine Sean Penn would win for One Battle after Another, but would not be surprised if Paul Mescal would win for that category. And for Best Screenplay, we have Paul Thomas Anderson's for One Battle After Another, we have Mighty Supreme, we have Sinners, we have Just an Accident, we have Samuel Value, we have Hamnet as well. Again, some really great contenders, but it's going to ultimately go to it's one battle after another. But I'm hearing loads of good things about My Supreme and Sentimental Value, maybe even Hamnet. Particularly, it's been co-written by the author Maggie Othello in this one. But again, I'm hedging bets that One Battle After Another is going to win for best screenplay in that category. And over the best score, we have Frankenstein, Sinners, One Battle After Another, Sarat, Hamnet, and Formula One, or just F1 as it's formerly known. Again, I'm definitely wanting to see maybe Sinners would win, and also maybe One Battle After Another, but again, at gunpoint, it's going to be Sinners by Ludwig Göransson, like, particularly in that scene where I Lie to You, and particularly that whole montage of the history of music, it's all in that burning hut, and how it's all done in that one track and shot. It's like completely sells it to me. Like, this is like a really gorgeously shot movie, and the music in it is like incredibly well done. Like, that's why I'm going for Sinners for best score for that one. And for best song, we have Dreamers 1 from Avatar, Fire and Ash. We have Golden from K-pop Demon Hunters, I Lie to You from Sinners, No Place Like Home from Wicked, The Golden Bubble from Wicked again, and Train Dreams from Train Dreams. Again, I did listen to these songs just before I did recording this. Dreamers 1 is pretty good if it's a credit song, so I imagine it's going to be stuck in credits, so nothing too big or explosive. So I wouldn't be surprised if Miley Cyrus doesn't sing this in her next world tour or something, because it kind of feels like a bit of a deep cut, from my opinion. Again, Golden from K-pop Demon Hunters might well be the winner in this one, because I definitely did like how really big, explosive, and very theatrical it was, and just the massive pop appeal it has, even if K-pop isn't my cup of tea. We have I Lie to You, pretty much as a very intense and somewhat foreboding song that completely flips on its own head like halfway into a song, which keeps in tempo with the scene itself, where the scene literally completely changes onto its head, where it goes into the history of music, and that one tracking shot, like I just mentioned earlier. Again, that sounds like a really great that is a really great contender. We have No Place Like Home and Golden Bubble, both good songs, but I prefer out of the two being No Place Like Home. We have Train Dreams being done by Nick Cave from the movie Train Dreams again. It does remind me a bit of his album from 2016's Skeleton Tree, as it is pretty, like, some morbid stuff is going on there, pretty much talking about the mortality of an ordinary life, and pretty much almost making a ballad out of it. And also a lot of like references to like Elvis and his mortality and the mortality of others. Again, some really interesting stuff. Particularly, I've gone to Nick Cave pretty much in the past year or so, getting the two albums being Murder Ballads and Skeleton Tree, which a lot of people do talk about in his discography, so I got those two, and even got some documentaries as well, so really interesting guy. So again, I think the winner of that was undoubtedly going to be Golden from K-pop. As much as I liked Train Dreams and I Lie to You, songs I definitely did like out of this one. But there's no doubting that for best song it's going to go for Golden from K-pop Demon Hunters. So, what do you think of the Golden Globes nominations this year? Let me know in the comments down below, like this video, subscribe to my channel, also follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, and Letterboxd, and just like Wells, and bye.